Good evening, everybody. Appreciate everybody coming in. Welcome to another Tuesday night on Watching Your Tackle. There we go. That looks better now. Appreciate everybody coming in here. My little girl was first in line today, so that was awesome. Yeah, Chrissy Brown, Cause is in here. Ernie Brown, my brother from another mother. Chrissy Brown, my sister from another mother. There's Matt from Wannabe. What's going on, Matt? Appreciate everybody coming in here. We got 5 people already started in here. Our guest will be here in just a little bit. He just got home, so bear with us when we get him up in here. What's up, Brad? What's up, Squirrel? Appreciate everybody coming in here. Please hit that thumbs up and share it out, guys. We got an awesome guest today, so y'all don't want to miss it. Definitely. What's up, Don R? Hope everybody's been doing good. Hope everybody's weather's better than ours. It's been raining all day, so don't know. Depends on the weather, what it's going to look like for fishing for the rest of the week. That's 6 people in the house. Appreciate everybody coming in here. Make sure you hit the thumbs up, share it out on all platforms that you've got. Let's see. Weather's fine and nice. Nice, squirrel. Wish it was fine and nice here. It's chilly and rainy. Thursday might look good, so we might be able to do Thursday. Thursday's supposed to be sunny and 65. Tomorrow's supposed to be really good. Tomorrow's supposed to be 78 degrees, but we got thunderstorms coming in. So, what did y'all think about the all the big fishes being caught this weekend? We got Art with a 92 to 94 pounder. LG Bass with a 58 pound. Lee Evans with a 53. We've got a bunch of people that's been catching some pretty good sized ones this weekend. I know I was watching Chad and D today, and they've caught a bunch today, like 10 or 12 or something like that today. So, I mean, they did pretty good. What's up, Paul? What's going on, man? Yeah, coming tonight. Yeah, that's what I figured. I figured we got a bunch coming in through here anyway. So, definitely. What's up, Down East Tackle? What's going on? Got 10 people in here now. Appreciate it. Yeah, our guest will be here in just a little bit. He said it'd probably be about 10 after 6, but we went ahead and started at 6 our normal time, so that way we can get everything out of the way. We got 9 people. But yeah, we'll get started here in just a little bit. But if y'all want to be a guest on the show, just let me know. Send me a message, comment on one of my videos, and we'll get in there. If you haven't seen it yet, I've got a name challenge out there right now on a short video. Y'all need to go look at it and give me a name. We've got a new member to our sheep family, and we need a name for it. We've got one that we're kind of thinking about, but you never know. We might be able to pick the name that you get. What's up, Annette? But if you like that kind of content, we've got some more ideas maybe coming up here soon. Possibly some announcements coming soon about the channel, about this show. So, hey, baby girl, what's going on? Lizabella, what's going on, Lizabella? And guys, that's my little girl Sky that's in there, not Cynthia. She's just under my wife's name. So. And then I've got a whole bunch of, I got about 20 something parents texting me right now too. Lambo. There you go. Put it in there. Put it in there. What's up, Swamp Donkeys? What's up, Jimmy? I know. We like some on Binks and things like that. And I know Jody's put on there that she likes her name. J Dog wants his name as it. So it's some funny. It's getting some good names. But my little girl's getting ready to play soccer, so I've got all their parents texting me. We're doing a big group text, so I'm trying to get all them information that they need. Booga Bear. There you go. I like that one. Booga Bear after John Parker. That's a nice one. But yeah, make sure you go over there and leave that as a comment. I very much appreciate it, guys. It's just trying to show a little bit of our side of it, what we do. So yeah, we've got 20 plus adult sheeps, and then we got probably 30, around 30 lambs or more. So there's Deer Slayer. What's going on, Deer Slayer, buddy? What's going on? Small Water Charter. What's going on, John? Appreciate you coming in here. We got 22 people in the house. Appreciate everybody coming here. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. Share it out. What's up, Buck? James Kirkpatrick. What's up, buddy? Appreciate you coming in here. We thought about that one, lamb chop after that little stuffed animal, but it's just, oh my goodness. John, a lot of them's actually in separate pens, so that's the reason why. So that's the reason why you can actually count most of them. Yep, no lamb chop. Yep, my little girl said no lamb chop. Nope, absolutely not. Yep. Like one little sheep, two little sheep, three little sheep. But we do have a little idea that we may be doing a Q&A with the sheep. So be looking out for that coming soon probably. I think it's going to be interesting. So I'm going to sit down and have an interview with the sheep and see what they say. It's going to be cute. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to love it. Have some fun. But if you want to be part of, like I said earlier, a little minute ago, some of y'all wasn't in here. If you want to be a guest on the show, just let me know. Email me, send me a message on Facebook, comment on one of the videos. Just let me know, and we'll get you set up on the show. Sonny and Cher. But I just need one, John. I just need one name. One. Not a whole bunch of them. Yeah, Bumblebee right now is the star. Yes. Yes, guy. Yeah. Fluffy was, but Fluffy has now joined its adopted mother. So he kind of like went away, but Bumblebee is now the star. Yeah, Bumblebee is the one that was following me behind me in that one little short video. Call it sheep. You can't. It's a baby. It's a lamb. You can't call it a sheep. Sheep is boring. Well, yeah, the sheep are boring. The mommies and dad and the mommy and daddy is all they're all boring because that's all they want to do is eat. But the babies are they're the best. Why ain't you out there with the sheep right now? It's almost you got another hour before you gotta go down there to them and feed them. Yeah, it's 7 o'clock feeding time. And guys, welcome our guest here.
Hey guys, what's going on, Kelly?
Not much, man. How are you?
Been a long day, brother. Just get home from work, man. They put a whooping on me today. They knew I wasn't gonna be there the rest of the week, so they put a whooping on me today.
Oh, man.
Yeah, planning on being up in Lake Wiley there in South Carolina come Thursday.
Oh yeah, for the was the tournament. We're still is going to have one basically online.
Yeah, Chad will be doing something there. I'm gonna see if I can do something right here. See if I can see the chats. I'm just killing everything. Hey, Squirrel. Okay. Everybody can see me okay, I suppose.
Yeah. We can still see you. I know you're going to have the chat kind of go across
the
screen a little bit. So,
but
right. We can still see you perfectly fine.
Good deal. Yes. Go ahead.
We'll get right into it. I mean, I kind of know who you are. I've kind of watched you all for a long time, you and Pops, for a very long time now, and I know a lot of people don't know, and they may not know because they have not watched it in a while. But just introduce you, who you are, where you're from, what lakes you fish.
Yeah. Well, A&B Anglers, of course. I'm Kevin. A lot of people call me KB simply because of the channel name. They just nicknamed me KB, and Pop was the twerking monkey, and everything. And we're from Georgia, Middle Georgia to be exact. Born and bred and lived most of my life in the same area. I have moved around a little bit, but as has Pop. Pop moved kind of all over the place, and then he settled back here. Here in our little neck of the woods, and then he and I started fishing together, and found that we had a nick for entertaining.
Yes.
So we did the YouTube thing, and we didn't realize it was going to be what it was. We started out with just wanting to throw our fishing experiences out there on do basically what we had seen other people do.
Oh yeah.
And it kind of took off from there, and people got to know us pretty good through our channel, and still do get to know us through our channel and now. And so yeah, it was I think this is the 4th year we've been in this thing. Well, I've been in this thing. As we all know, Pop passed in November, and so basically we fished. We mainly fished Lake Sinclair there in Milledgeville, Georgia. We also, of course, we go to Lake Wiley. Fish a lot in Lake Wiley, or have fished a lot over in Lake Wiley, and we've been to different lakes. I recently went to Lake Murray for the first time, and had a tournament there. It was shortly after Pop had passed, so I didn't have my capacities about me, so I didn't do well. But I fished, and that was one good thing. And we did catch fish. That was another good thing.
I remember something like you were saying something about it was just being back out, trying to get back out and just do what you can.
Yep. That's what I was trying to do. And I'm getting back into it a little bit at a time. I've had here recently, I've had some experiences with some friends of mine, where we've been doing some crappie fishing, something I'd never really done before. And
Absolutely.
so I actually enjoyed doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's not bad. I mean, we've been doing a little bit of that this year, and we caught a couple of good ones a few weeks back, and then last week they pulled out about 20 something keepers.
Oh
So
wow,
I missed out. I missed out. I was on the bank fishing for catfish, and they took off to another part and went crappie fishing. And I was like, and they sent me pictures, and I was jealous.
that's
Coming
right.
out with 20 something keepers.
Hey, Pontoon Jody,
What's
she's
up,
hollering at
Jody?
me. But, I know I
So
missed some of you guys.
what got you all into doing YouTube?
Um, well, it was kind of funny, in a roundabout way. So when we first about it's been 4 years since, so it's been 5 years since we started fishing together, again. When I was growing up, we used to go to a bunch of ponds that my granddaddy had. Matter of fact, it was actually my great granddaddy had a farm that had several fishing ponds on, and that's where my daddy grew up, was at his granddaddy's place, my great granddaddy's place. And so we used to do a lot of fishing when we'd go up to, go up there, but mostly just, bluegill, that kind of thing, and never really got into the whole. I mean, we'd catch catfish, little, channel cats,
Yeah.
but never got really into, catching channel cats much. Back in the day, I enjoyed, catching the bluegill. I thought I was having a ball doing that, and it didn't matter how big it was, but and of course, we were, as Southerners, we were of the mind that if you catch it or kill it, you eat it, so we kept pretty much everything that we ever caught or killed while hunting. And I mean, obviously, you want to keep what you kill hunting, because that's what you're out there for. But we didn't do no trophy fishing or hunting, that kind of thing growing up. But anyways, fast forward, life gets in the way, and um, I grew up and got married and got divorced and got married again.
Yeah.
And Pop, of course, he and Mom, they split, and he made his way up to Atlanta, where he stayed for 20, almost 30 something years, and everything. But we still do a little bit of fishing every once in a while when I'd go up that way.
Yeah.
Well, when he moved back to, we're I'm in Washington County, Georgia, Sandersville, Georgia, to be exact. So when he moved back to Washington County, he moved back because my brother was trying to put a restaurant together. My brother's a chef, and he was trying to put a restaurant together, and asked my dad if he could come down and help him out. And Pop said, sure. Pop had been in the business before. Plus, he had also had his own construction business while he was up there in Atlanta, and did very well.
Yeah.
And so, anyways, he moved back down here. Well, unfortunately, the restaurant failed. It was a disaster, but it is what it is,
Yeah. Yeah.
My brother moved off to greener pastures to try and recoup, and Pop decided he was going to stay here in Washington County. He said, I'm not moving again. So at that point, I decided I'd get a boat. And it just so happened, about the time I made the decision, I wanted to get a boat so me and my daddy could go fishing again. It presented itself in the form of a 1987 Bass Tracker fishing boat, and had a 70 horse Mercury on the back of it, and real good looking boat, real nice. That's some of our earlier videos. As a matter of fact, I've got that in there, and that's what we were fishing out of. And so we got out there. Never been on the lake fishing. At least I hadn't. Most of our fishing had been bank fishing out of ponds, and maybe the river every once in a while if it was down. And so it was a new experience for me getting out there on the lake and trying to do some fishing, as it was for Pop as well. I mean, he'd done very, very little lake fishing.
Oh yeah.
But we got out there and we started fishing, and again, we were catching channel cats and bluegill and shell cracker, and just pretty much anything that would hit. We fished for anything that would bite until we caught, or that is to say, until I caught my first, what I considered my first big fish, which is funny now because my first big fish was 6 pounds. So, I caught that. We were actually it was right at dark. I cut back up into it was literally a cut. It wasn't even a cove. It was just a cut. And, and anchored up and we cast back towards the bank. And we had been sitting there probably, I'd say 20 minutes max. And my rod just doubled. I mean, it almost took it off the boat. It hit it so hard. And so I reeled him in and saw what he was, got all excited. And by that time, Pop's rod does the same thing, doubles over, just starts screaming drag. And he tries to get it and manhandle it. And it took off for deeper waters and probably snapped the line. We never did get to see that one. Don't know what that one was, but whatever it was, it snapped 20 tests mono, like it was nothing. Yeah. So I mean, it was unreal. It just as quick as he could get to deeper water, he just kept on rolling. Never even stopped. Never even slowed him down. But
those are the ones that we always wish. It's like, wish we could have got it in, because there's like, ain't no telling how big of a fish that was.
Exactly, no doubt. We've had quite a few of those actually. I'll tell you a story here shortly concerning that. I call it my Pop's Moby, as in Moby Dick, because it was the fish that got away that Pop tried his dangest to go out there and catch again, and never did. But that's a different story. But to continue what I was saying, we got that first fish was 6 pounds, got him in, thought I was doing something, and Pop got to discussing what had happened that night, and we decided, we're gonna try and see if we can target catfish rather than just going out there and just fishing for anything. We're gonna see what we can do, or what we've got to do to literally target catfish. And we pretty much had the bluegill down pat. We knew how to do that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So anyhow, started looking at YouTube actually. Pop didn't know anything about YouTube, didn't know how to, I taught Pop how to do YouTube. But I just went in and started, how you'll Google, fishing, catfishing in Georgia, or catfishing Lake Sinclair, or blah, 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 blah. And all these videos came up. And so I started watching. Well, one of the first videos that I remember seeing that popped up was, of course, Mr. Steve Douglas's video. Started watching him, and I saw how big they got, and my eyes got about this big around, and I said, I want that. And so, I showed Pop, and I showed Pop how to get in on YouTube so he could study how to catch, target big fish. And anyways, it kind of took off, and we took what we learned from Mr. Steve Douglas and others that we had been watching, and we implemented it into our home lakes and a lot of what they were doing, and we started catching, on the regular, started catching 4, 5, 6 pound cats. Thought we were doing something. Well, about that time, I made mention. I said, Pop, I said, all this YouTube stuff, I said, it looks like it'd be something we could probably do. And so we discussed it a little further, and we made a decision that's what we were going to do. That was 4 years ago. Very first video I put out was the year in review. I think it was 2017 year in review. I can't remember. I'd have to go back to the video. But it's the very first video I ever put out, and basically it was just a bunch of pictures and some music, and I just wanted to test the waters. Actually got some decent, feedback on it, and then I started putting out more videos, and I started doing a little bass fishing. I had actually intended on doing more bass fishing than catfishing, but the catfishing seemed to be where it was at the time, and that's where we were starting to get more oriented in targeting those fish. Oh, So yeah. So anyways, that's kind of where we got started. We just decided we was going to target fish one day and started watching YouTube and saw that that was something we could do, for entertainment purposes. And well, the rest is history, I guess you might say.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's good because it's like you said, you all were bluegill and basically panfish. That's basically what
Exactly.
you all were. And then using the tools that were given to us, the YouTube and videos and stuff like that, you've learned to start actually targeting bigger fish, catfish and stuff like that.
That's
And
right.
I always liked that part. I like that part where we can take people like us that were mainly panfish people with the knowledge of YouTube, and now with these shows with Catfish Weekly and the Bait Shop and us and Patriot James's show on Wednesday nights and Mark's show with Catfish and Crappie. I mean, we're using these shows to better ourselves more and more now. Before
You
we
know,
just had somebody. Before we just had somebody that was out there just putting out a video. I mean, we had Steve Douglas, but I mean, we really didn't have a whole lot more content really until we do
right.
now.
And that's one of the things. That's one of the things about a lot of the live streams that's out there now. It has allowed a venue in which, um, and I'm by no means a professional, by no means, but those of us that have learned to target and want to kind of share that information,
Mhm.
for those that, like you were saying, that was just like me whenever I
Yeah,
started.
yeah,
They didn't know, and over the years I've had on a local level, but I mean I've also it's it's kind of humbling actually when you start doing these things. As YouTube and putting your video, putting yourself out there, because you're putting yourself out there for the world to see, and it's kind of humbling when you're out of town and somebody recognizes you.
mhm,
I've had that actually happen a few times actually. You expect your local people that know you
yeah,
to talk about you, or or come in and everything and everything, and it's hey, I saw your video last night. That was some good fish. Where was you at? Blah 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 blah. That's one thing, but when you have people, when you're standing in a restaurant and of course I got my what I call my gear,
yeah,
my shirt and hat and whatnot, because um we're in a restaurant. Me and Pop, this is just for instance, me and Pop in the restaurant, we're waiting on at McDonald's to be exact. We just felt like getting something fast food, and the boat wasn't. I mean, the boat was too long for us to actually get through the drive-through, so we made a decision just to go in and grab it and go. But we're standing there in line, and of course it's busy. It's a busy restaurant,
oh yeah,
busy McDonald's. Most McDonald's are, and I keep hearing this whispering behind me. And of course, you don't want to just turn around, look at somebody,
yeah,
So
oh yeah,
I'm trying to position my way, in such a way that I can see behind me, um, and everything. And I, I I catch this guy, and I assume it was his girlfriend, wife. I don't know. It could have been his sister for all I know. They're sitting there, you're looking at us, and they're whispering to each other. And about that time, I heard that's KB, and that's when I knew they recognized us.
yeah.
And so when I just kind of turned around and I nodded my head to them and said, "Hey, how you guys doing?" And shoot, you'd have thought they'd have met a celebrity for sure. Um, it was it was unreal. They was like, "You are KB," and yeah, how
Yeah,
y'all doing? We watch your stuff all the time. We've got our blah 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 and our brother and da da da. They come out and we
it's
follow.
like
We let it was like wow,
it's like everybody's coming over to watch some kind of a movie or something, but it's YouTube.
exactly exactly. One of my good friends. Matter of fact, some of the last videos that you guys have seen, may have seen was Jimmy Rhodes. He that he actually he was a fan. He was one of the ones that hit me up, and of course he's not local, but he's close. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Hit me up and wanted to do some fishing with me, and I made a because he fished the same lake I do, and so I made arrangements to make that happen, and we became really good friends. And then he decided that he wanted to help me out with content because I was struggling there for a little while for content with Pop being busy, again helping my brother do
Mhm.
raise another restaurant, a successful restaurant this time. But so I was struggling with trying to get some content out there. So he says, "Oh, hey," he says, "I go out there and fish more often than you do. Why don't I just fish, film it, and I'll give you the footage, and then you just throw it out there." And of course, he's really good at what he
Mhm.
does. And so I said, okay. Well, anyways, Jimmy was one of the ones that I thought was funny because he literally told me, he said, KB, he says, when you put a video out, he says, me, my daughter, and my son, and sometimes my wife will all sit down in the living room and put your video up on the big screen and watch it. And I was like, really? He's like, yeah. And he says, we're constantly waiting on that next video to come out. And he says my daughter's constantly going, when's KB gonna put another video out?
Yeah.
And so anyways, we became good friends. I got to know his family real good, and so now we're fishing partners to a certain degree.
Yeah.
But it's like I said, it's humbling actually. Some people can go one or two ways when it's like that. You either get the big head and
Yeah.
you think, well, I'm
My
the
stuff don't stink.
yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, or you become humbled
Yeah.
and you just thank God that you have what you have. You know what I'm saying? So, and I chose to be humbled because it literally, I mean, I did it just for fun. I
Yeah.
do it
Oh,
just
yeah.
for fun.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
but to have people to come up to you and say, "Hey, I want to go fishing with you. I want you to take me out there and show me how to target or show me how to catfish," is how they'll put it.
Yeah.
Um, some of my buddies will say, "Well, in me making that statement, some of my buddies would probably say, Jim Catman Clark to be exact, would probably say, well, he don't know how to fish for big fish anyway, so why would they ask you that?"
Yeah.
Now, Jim and I tell you what, you had Jim on what 2 weeks ago it was. I
Yeah.
was supposed to be on your show last week, and unfortunately, I was sick and I wasn't able to make it, and I apologize for that.
No
Um,
problem.
but um, but yeah, Jim and I we've been well, hell, we've been brothers. He and Justin Mullador with Justin's Fishing Fetish,
Mhm.
Richard Warskow with Keeping It Real, and just a bunch of us have gotten together and formed a friendship that goes beyond just friends. And
Yeah.
it's really been I don't know. It was kind of cool the way it all happened. It happened, as a matter of fact, with through Patriot James's um, first YouTube tournament.
Yeah.
It's how we all came together and got to know each other. We knew each other through YouTube, of course.
Yeah.
Going into Catfish Weekly and such as that. But to really know each other, you need to spend time, together. And I think Jim may have spoke. I don't know if Jim ever did. He tell the story about us being out there after the tournament and me falling off the boat. He usually
No,
does. I
he
should
did not.
man.
He did not.
Okay,
So,
fine.
I think, you
You
should.
will. I see. Yeah. So picture, if you will, we're at this we're at this tournament, and I believe, yeah, it was the day before the tournament itself, and we had been out pre-fishing and just hanging out and whatnot on the water. And we decided, when we decided to come in, it rained a little bit, nothing bad, but it was still wet, and I had borrowed a buddy of mine's boat because my little old bass tracker wouldn't hold the amount of people that I was supposed to be fishing with.
Yeah.
So anyways, I borrowed a big 21-foot center console, I think it was. Well, I know it was center console, but it was a big, I think it was 21, 22-foot center console. And that's what I brought with me to this tournament. Well, we brought it back. We come off the water. We all decided to go back, back to the motel and regroup and go grab a bite to eat and whatnot. Well, the part of town that I was in, of course, I hate to say it this way because it's sad that I have to say it, but I have a huge distrust of people. So everything that was in the boat come out of the boat and either got inside my truck or went into my motel room. And in the process of gathering all that and securing the boat, I decided I was going to step off the boat, and I was done. Well, you got at least 8 YouTubers. There was at least 8. Peel and Drag, Irvin the Paid Tourist was there, Catman Clark, I think Catfish Bill 66 was there. I'm pretty sure he was out there. Oh gosh, I can't remember who all else was there, but it was about 8 of us, there, congregated right there at the boat, talking amongst our friends and ourselves and whatnot. And I go to step off this boat, and I caught out of the corner of my eye, Jim kind of look up because obviously I'm about to come off the boat. Yeah. And about that time, my foot slips. It hit the step wrong, and it was wet, and I literally fell from about a 4 foot. Yeah, it was roughly 4 foot off the ground. Oof. And landed on my hip. I had a huge bruise the next day, and probably for another 2 weeks on my side of my hip. Well, Jim thought it was the funniest thing ever.
He would.
I mean, he has told the story and has laughed since then. He said, "Oh, Kev pulled, oh shoot, what's this? What was the magician's name that used to get out of a Houdini?" He says, Kevin's pulled a Houdini. Says 1 minute he's there, poof, the next he's not.
Gone.
But it was, it was all in fun. I took it, it was, my pride was hurt more than my side, to be honest with you. But but yeah, he's told that he's told that many a time. But I got one for him, and he said he was being here. I hadn't seen him yet, but I've got one for him. We were at CatCon 2019, CatCon, first and only one I've been to so far. And anyways, we decided after CatCon was over, we were going to go back to Jim's house, and we was going to spend a few days up there before I come home. That was part of my vacation, and that's what we're going to do is fish with him. So we're on our way back, and Jim had this one of those roll beam, or not beamies, what do you call them? The bed liner or bed tops that just roll up. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah. Bed covers, yeah.
Like the tonneau, the roll up tonneau covers. And he had it rolled up, but somehow or another it come unfastened and it's flapping. And so I call him up real quick and go, you might want to secure that, that top before it comes flying off in my face. And so he pulls over real quick. I pull over right behind him. He jumps out the truck. And as he comes around the back of the truck, I hear boom. I mean, I got the windows up because it's cold. And I literally hear boom. And I look, because I had glanced down for just a second. I look up, and he has collided with the Reese hitch. Has moved the truck. He hit it so hard.
Good God.
And I mean, all Pop and I could do was go, oh, my hand to her. Jim's like, he's bent over, and you could see he's trying not to cry, and he's looking back up at us, and they're cracking up because I mean, we know his pain, but it's just the image of what he's doing. He's just like,
That's the reason why in my profession we call those shin breakers.
Oh God, yes.
That's literally what they are. They will break your shin if you ain't careful.
He still has a divot in his leg from that experience. It's literally a little small divot in his shin where he caught that Reese hitch. I actually felt bad about laughing at him, but I didn't at the same time because he laughed at me. But but yeah, that was it, and we had a great time that weekend. That really bonded, sealed that bond for us, for Jim and I.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Being able to get out there and really really enjoy each other's company. And we didn't catch no fish. He claims that I was bad luck that weekend, and he said he'll even tell you that I broke his fishing game on the Wii, because it wouldn't work while we were there, and whenever I left, it went back to working again. So he claimed that I had bad luck.
What's going on, Lyle?
Not much, guys. What's happening?
Hey, Lyle.
One of my favorite guys right there. They call him
Hey,
K&B and they call him Kevin. Some people call him Calvin, but he's my friend.
yes, no doubt, no doubt.
I've kind of dubbed him now the prodigal son of the twerking monkey.
Yeah.
Him and Pop are two of the greatest people you could ever meet. I met them the first time down at CatCon, and we visited and done interviews. Of course, we was doing interviews every day, all day. And they come by and we visited, and I never met finer folks. And last year, we went out to Patriot James's tournament out there, and I got to meet his wife and him again, and it was just a great time. And we're fortunate enough to have Kevin and Pop on Catfish Weekly over the years, a time or two, and done interviews with them at CatCon. And I'm hoping that Kevin will join us again one of these days, and maybe we can get together somewhere and slide up in a boat and see what we can't tear up.
Well, I'm still trying to make that watery, or was it watery we was talking about before Pop passed? We was talking about trying to get together on Wheeler. That's right.
Try to make Wheeler, and we was going to do it last year, and the COVID was so bad, everybody kind of, veered away from doing much. And then of course this year we lost him, and what a man, that's a crying shame. He's the finest guy you ever want to meet.
Yeah, he was definitely a character.
If you didn't have fun with Pop, it was your own fault, because you was going to have fun.
Yep, it's true. No doubt. He's going to make sure you had fun one way or the other.
Yep, might be your expense. That's okay.
I was going to say it was either my expense or his own sometimes. He'd pick on his own self. But it was never, I tell you, it was never a dull moment. That's for sure.
Oh, no.
Yeah, off or on the camera. Either way, it was never a dull moment with him.
So are you going to start dancing in the boat? Do we need to rename it something else, like Kevin's Follies, or I'm thinking we ought to be open to suggestions.
Well, it's funny that you asked that question. I have made the decision. I just haven't done it yet, but I have made a decision to rename the boat the Twerking Monkey.
There you go.
And so I haven't done it yet. I've had I've been in my own head for a while, so
I think that's a very admirable thing to do, and in my mind, things won't be complete with me until I get to ride in that boat.
Well, we definitely have to make that trip to Wheeler together like we planned on. Now things are kind of starting to come down. I think we'll be able to make that happen.
Yep. And if it's not there, it'll be somewhere. We need to get together and do some fishing and have some good times, because we'll do it in memory of Pop, because he would have had fun, and we might as well too.
Exactly. I'm definitely trying to carry that torch and carry on. That's the whole reason for keeping the channel the way I did. I hadn't been able to do a lot with it here recently, but I'm starting to kind of get more enthused with it again, and hence the reason I'm here with Kelly and you tonight. And of course, we're going up. I was supposed to be leaving tomorrow to go up to Lake Wiley. Unfortunately, my wife found out she had to work, so we're not going till Thursday. And so I was like, "Come on, can't you call in sick or something? They know where I'm going." Okay, whatever.
Well,
so
as high as gas is this year, we chose not to go out there. Well, we have another trip coming up to Mendota next month, and I had to choose between one. and Mendota won out. As bad as I hate to say that, but it's hard to pass up on 25, 30-pound channel cat. It's hard for me to pass up on it.
I was going to say, I'd love to bring in a 20, 30-pound channel. I mean, my PB channel.
They're starting to talk about it around here now. I was talking to somebody today, I think Chad, and there's been hints that our lake has been pulling out 20 and 30-pound channels.
Very nice. Well, Kevin, if you ever,
they're starting to get bigger.
Our lakes don't have those big channels like that. But we do have some big blues and some big flats that have been caught. I hadn't caught them yet, but
yeah, well, as long as they're there. But if you decide you want to do that trip to Mendota, let me know some year, this year, next year, or the year after, whenever you guys can line it up. And I think Cindy and I'll be going up there for every year for a while, as long as we're able, because that's the most fun trip we do. It's the most fun trip we did last year for sure. So, but I had Dockery in the boat. You can imagine that. And it was a lot of fun. He caught just shy of 27, and Katie caught a bunch of fish. He caught a bunch of them in the teens, and Cindy caught some nice fish. I don't think I caught but one, but I didn't really care. I just was having so much fun with James that, it made the whole trip worthwhile. But he's not going this year, so Cindy and I'll probably be a little more serious. But like I say, you decide you want to go sometime, let me know, and we'll get together and plan it out, because it's a trip of a lifetime.
Well, it's definitely something I had said I was going, a couple of years ago. I said we were going to be more mobile, and it was, well, you and I had talked about that as well,
right?
Because we had talked about Wheeler, we had talked about Gunnersville, and hitting up the Tennessee a little bit, since it was kind of it was almost like a halfway point for you and I.
Yeah.
And of course, South Carolina, is only from where I live, just about any lake in South Carolina is about 3 to 3.5 hours from me. So, I can hit any of those lakes up pretty much anytime I want to.
I didn't realize you were that close to those lakes.
I am. I'm actually, if you're familiar with Clark's Hill or the Thurman, Lake Thurman, which is actually the same lake. That's just one's on Georgia side and one's on South Carolina side. I'm literally only an hour from there.
Wow.
Lake Murray, I'm literally only about an hour and a half. Yeah, I'm around an hour and a half, right at not quite 2 hours to Lake Murray. And then Lake Wiley, I'm like 3.5 hours. The Santee Cooper, I'm 3 hours. So yeah.
Heck, you got a lot of good fishing around you. I know one thing: if I was that close to Lake Murray, I'd be getting a hold of Junior Proctor, and him and I'd be going fishing.
Yeah, actually, Junior and I've got Junior's number. In fact, and he and I've talked. Unfortunately, it's never come to fruition. But he and I talked about getting together and doing some fishing together, since I am that close.
Yeah, absolutely, it'd be good. Listen, Kevin, as much as I enjoy visiting with you, I don't want to take up Kelly's show.
You're fine. No.
He was gracious enough to ask me on here, and you're a great friend to me, and I appreciate everything you do. Love your videos. Keep them coming, man. Don't stop, and we'll always remember Pop and the memories we had.
Thanks, sir.
All right. Talk to you soon.
All right, bro.
Thank you, sir.
So what else you want to know, Kevin?
All right, let's
so we can go all night, man.
It's fine with me. We can keep on talking. Well, I mean, that's basically what our show is basically about, is just what's in your tackle. So, I mean, we'll get right into it, and we'll start talking about some of the tackle that you use. We'll start out with the rods. What's your go-to rods that you normally like to use?
The most recent ones have been the BCFs, Big Cat Fevers.
Okay.
I use medium heavy Big Cat Fever rods. I actually won a BCF. I believe it was on Lyle's show, in fact, that I won it. If I remember correctly, it was the first one that I ever had. I got once I got it in, and I lined it up with a what did I put on that? I think the first reel I put on it was Abu Garcia 5000 that I had acquired. Matter of fact, I know what it was. I put that on there, and I really liked the way it felt. I liked the backbone of it. It's a really good rod all the way around. So, yeah. After that, I wound up acquiring about four more. I think I got a total of five, if I remember correct, or four. And I got a total of four right now. But those are my go-tos whenever I go, especially if I'm going out with somebody else, fishing. I'm only going to take my BCFs with me. I've got the newer BCFs. I actually got them rigged up with the Abu Garcia C4s. I really like the C4s. They are very good reels. I like the way they handle and the way they cast. I mean, to me, they're just a good all around reel.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Let me say hi to a couple of people that's jumped in here real quick. We got Tinkerbell's in, Squirrel. There's Curtis. There's Chad with Fields to Water. What's going on, Chad?
Chad. Hey, buddy.
He's lurking around as usual. Let's see. We've got. I already said hi to Paul. We got Mike Costello, Annette Morgan. There's Mike Sampy is in the house. Mr. Sampy's in the house. There's Danny Baker. There's Danny Baker in the house.
I saw downtown Ernie Brown. Hey, buddy. Yep. That's another one of my buddies.
Yep.
And,
there's Troy with Real and Virtual Outdoors. What's going on, Troy? Dale Hayslip. And I think I've caught up with everybody. It was there's Sarah. What's going on, Sarah? Appreciate you coming here. Ricky from Solo Texan.
You saw Paul Boyd there, P&B Catfish.
And Catfish Regulators, Mr. Aaron.
There you go.
Is in the house.
I hadn't seen how many we got in the house tonight.
We got 17 people in the house right now.
17?
We got 17 in here.
He's 70.
Yep.
One is better than none, right?
Oh yeah. I honestly, I can care less if we have 6 people, if we have 50 people in here. It's all the same. Because I mean, I'm here for you, the guests. So I mean, just to get your information out, who you are out there, and any information that you can give out. And that's pretty much what I'm here for. I can care less about the numbers.
I tell you, you asked on when you was talking with Jim, and I may be getting ahead of the game here, so forgive me if I am, but I know you asked him what does he look for when fishing. Of course, he does a lot of bank fishing as well, but whereas I do boats, lake fishing, boat fishing. But I tell you what, though, the answer he gave, which was a lot of lay down structure, ledges, just what those type of those type of areas. We look for the same thing. It's pretty much the same in the boat as it is off the boat. You're just on the body of water, and you can get the different areas more so than you can from the bank. And but we generally do that. But one of the things that and I don't know that he mentioned it or not. One of the things that we also tend to look at least those of us that are in the know in boating. I literally learned this from Pop and learned how to judge it and everything. Watch your wildlife. Watch your herons. Watch your seagulls. We have seagulls actually on our lake, and we're dead center of Georgia, nowhere near a body, nowhere near the ocean, but we have seagulls on our lake, and you can tell when they're feeding, when the fish are feeding, because all you got to do is just watch those seagulls, and if they start hovering and dropping down into the water real quick, that's a hot spot, you know.
And we were talking about that last week with Creo a little bit when we was looking at different bodies of water and spots to look at. We kind of hinted about watching after like the cranes and stuff like that. Watch how they react. Are they actually in the water? Are they actively feeding and stuff like that on the fish? And if they are, that means there's bait fish there, which means there's predator fish there.
Yeah, so, if you see a crane hanging around a certain area, and he's in the water, not on the land, but in the water.
Mm-hmm.
And you watch him long enough, you'll tell real quick, like if there's bait, especially if you're needing to catch, bluegill, catch a bunch of bluegill, shell crackers such as that for bait catfishing. All you gotta do is spot that crane and watch him. If he dips into the water and comes back up on land real quick, that's the spot to be. I literally ran a crane off a spot one time because he was seriously. I swear this crane had a hole in his gullet or something. The time that we sat there and watched him, me and Pop both sat there and watched this crane. He dipped into that water probably 5 or 6 times and come out with some massive. I'm talking hand size blue, and just took. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
So I come pulling up.
Get him out of here. Get him out of here so we can get those.
I come pulling up real quick. I'm talking like real quick on him, and he took off, and we went to fishing it. And I think we come shoot. I believe that was the day that we probably had 30 something bluegill come off the water with 30 something bluegill.
Nice.
Unfortunately, I wasn't doing Bluetooth. I wasn't doing YouTube at the time, and so I didn't get nothing on camera. I do have pictures of it actually. But we come off. Some real. Oh my God, we had a hell of a fish fry.
Oh yeah, there you go. What's going on, John Parker? Appreciate you coming in here, buddy.
John.
Yep.
Is Avid in the house also? Did I see Avid?
Yeah, Avid's in here. Yep.
Good deal. Good deal.
Yep.
Yeah, we
up to 19 people. Appreciate everybody coming in here. Make sure you hit that thumbs up, share it out. If you haven't picked up Kevin with A&B Anglers, make sure you do. Because you can always go back and watch a lot of the videos and stuff with Kevin and Pops and have some good laughs and some fun. Definitely
worth a look for the laugh.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Because the thing is I've only known you for like the last year plus, even though you've been doing it for 4 years. So I've had to go back and catch up. And I've had some balls just sitting there listening to Pops and this loving just knowing you all. So it kind of makes me, like you say with Jim's, like you've known each other for years now.
Right.
It's almost because I've went back and watched you and Pops, and for the last couple year or so more, I've got to know you all too. And it's like with Jim, same way, and a few others.
Right. Yeah, I've picked up and unfortunately I don't go into Patriots show or much as I hate to say it, I don't go into Lyle show much like I used to.
Mm-hmm.
But I try to catch it I try to catch it as often as I can. It used to be every Monday night and Wednesday night. I was in one of the, in either one of the shows, or not in it, but I was watching it. I was in the chats, and then things started kind of progressing with the channel, and I had to start picking and choosing when I could go in and watch. But I do try to go back and watch the just like with Creole, which unfortunately I missed it last Tuesday. For obvious reason I was sick, I'm gonna go back because Creole's another one. I've been knowing Creole now for about like you, about a year and a half, I guess, and got to really know him and I plan on he's not that far from me actually. Down in Louisiana. He's just south of me, and we've talked about getting together and maybe doing some fishing. I want to fish some of his waterways.
Yeah.
I tell you what I want to do. What I'd love to do is get with somebody that maybe it's something Lyle and I can plan. I want to bump. I don't have the waterways to bump. I've never bumped. And
Lyle would be a good one. Creole would be a good one. There's one in here. Mike Greenwell's in here. I know he's probably still listening. Mike would be a good one.
Oh, definitely.
Roger and Skip from the Weekend Angler, or not Weekend Anglers, but the River Warriors. All those guys, they pretty much got the bumping down pretty much to Pat. Even Bobcat does. There you
Yeah,
go. Lyle says we can make it happen.
Oh yeah. I tell you, man, I've watched I've watched like Mike Greenwell, for instance. I've watched some of his videos, bumping videos,
Yep.
and everything, and Bobcats. I've seen some of his videos and everything, and it just I don't know, it just kind of it interests me, it's kind of a bucket. You might say it's a bucket list type,
Yeah.
type of experience. I that was how. Matter of fact, that's how I got into crappie fishing. The first of this year was simply because it was something I'd never done before, and then my buddy Rebel Duke, Logan Ward, he that's all he did basically. I mean, he catfished, but he didn't really do a lot of catfishing, and he mostly crappie fished and did tournaments and such as that. So I hit him up. I told him, I said, look, I said, I need something a little bit more. Most definitely, Chad. I just saw that, but anyhow, I hit him up and I told him, I said, look, I said, I want to do something I've never really done before. I said, I want to go out there and I want to learn how to target crappie, and he said, well, come on, we'll make it happen. And we got together and for a couple of days and he taught me his techniques. And I've got a little technique of my own actually that I use in ponds, that I integrated this last go round. Matter of fact, just this last, probably 3 weeks ago, I guess it was now, I needed to get away from the house for a little while. And there's a pond right down the road from me actually that I have permission to fish in. Has a lot of good bass. As a matter of fact, it's the pond you guys have seen in my videos in the past. It's got a lot of good bass in it, and it's kind of off the beaten path type of thing, and it's quiet. It's just it's a good place to go and kind of meditate when you need to think.
Oh yeah.
And so I decided I was going to go, and because I needed to get away for a while, and so I got out there. I took my I took my bass rods with me, and which I needed to dust them off anyways because I hadn't used them in a while. And so I took them out there, and I had a phenomenal day. I literally went back and because I took pictures of pretty much everything I caught, and I went back and I looked at the timestamps. I was pulling fish about every 15 minutes out of that pond that day. I started off with bass. I wound up catching, I think, 7 bass total. That were some pretty decent sized bass. My wife likes to eat bass, so I actually kept those because they were the eatable size, not the big ones. And with the the 1.5, 2 pound range. And so I kept those, and then believe it or not, I had crappie hit the lure. A 3-inch swim bait is what I was using, and I had crappie hitting that lure. And I said, okay. I said, well, I'll just continue to fish and see if I can catch them, along with the bass. All total that day, I caught over 30 fish in a 4-hour time frame. That was pulling anywhere from right there at the beginning. It was pulling about every 5 minutes, if I remember correctly. I was pulling a fish out of the water, and then as the day progressed, it started being about every 15 minutes. I was pulling them out. Well, there was a technique that I had developed. Well, I'd say I developed it. That's probably been done before, but it was something I did that I had caught crappie out of there before, and I decided to do it again. And basically, it's a very simple rig. It's the same rig as what you would catch panfish with. Actually, I mean any kind of bluegill or panfish, where you use a bobber. And I used a weighted bobber to be exact, so I could get distance. I pulled about 2 foot off the bobber, and then put a crappie jig on the back of it, on the end of it, and I would cast it as far out as I could, and then just do a slow retrieve, bringing it through the water and just kind of playing with it. And then once I'd see that, see that bobber go down, and I knew I was ready to go. And I mean, I was pulling them out like you would not believe, son. but it was a phenomenal day. I had an excellent. As a matter of fact, I think you've seen those pictures on Facebook. If I remember correctly.
Yep.
That was just a phenomenal day. It was a day for me to go back and reflect and get my mind right. And I was really glad I did it.
It seemed like you really did. It seemed, because I mean, when I saw the pictures, I was like, man, that's a great day there. It had to been. So.
Oh yeah, it was definitely a great day. One of my better days, anyways. I'll put it that way.
Yeah. So
yeah,
we was talking about, you was talking about bucket lists for bumping. Yes. What is one of the bucket lists for rods? What's one of the rods that's out there now that you probably would like to have?
You have to forgive me. I have to take
I know. You're still recovering. I know you are.
I am, man. I tell you, they wore me out today. I'll sleep good tonight, that's for sure. You know, as far as what's out there is concerned, you know, I like I said, I'm kind of partial to the BCFs as far as that's concerned. Their new line of Hellcats, I'd love to have, both the orange and the green, at least one or two of each one. But now Lyle makes, matter of fact, Lyle made a custom made. I commissioned Lyle to make a custom made rod, full pop, and and he did a fantastic job. It's the Black Horse line of rods, and did an absolutely fantastic job of making this rod. And I really liked the way it handled as well. It was it just I've obviously I've had an opportunity to use it. It goes wherever I go. In other words, since Pop's passed, and the reason for that is that that's Pop's rod. You know, that's him fishing with me.
Yeah. And a lot of us do that now. A lot of us will name our rod somebody that we want them to have that's their rod on my boat or whatever, or in our bank or whatever. But yeah, I mean, for having that's Pop's rod with me, it's his memory. He actually is fishing with me. That's awesome. I mean,
everybody that gets on the boat with me, or that I get on the boat with, if they don't know right at the beginning, they I'll let them know real quick. Like any rod, especially if they're on the boat with me, I'm the way I fish with different people. If I have guests on my boat, is that everybody gets a turn. It doesn't matter. Everybody gets a turn to pull a fish. And we take turns, pulling fish. There's no this is my side, this is yours, unless we're trying to do like a one-on-one type of thing. But then I've got the advantage because I can actually park the boat on my side off of a ledge and catch fish.
It's like, okay, you have this side, I'll take this side because this side's going to catch all the fish.
Exactly.
We're good.
But regardless, I literally don't try to do that, but we each, everybody gets a chance, and the guest always has the first pull regardless. And but I let people know with that rod, you're welcome to, when it's your time, you're welcome at any rod that goes down, but that one. That's the one rod that I don't allow anybody else to fish with. And it's my rod. And there's a reason for it. And once that reason, once that goal has been met, I may let others fish with it as it progresses. But Pop's PB was only 17 pounds. Caught it out of Sinclair. It was the one-eyed Moby. It literally had only one eye. Caught it right at dusk. There's a video out there on it where I videoed it, and we were excited about him catching that 17-pound cat. And everything, but he, as much as he tried over the next couple of years or whatever, he never could break it. In the meantime, I was hitting 18s and 20s, and I hit that 31. Mine's actually 31. My Blue Cat PB is only 31 which I plan on breaking that joker this weekend.
I would break it about 3 or 4 times this year, or at least more.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
And then of course my flathead PB is like 25. I haven't gotten into really targeting flatheads. I've caught them a couple of times in the 20. Like I said, mine's 25, but I haven't really started really targeting flatheads. But which is funny because I'm actually in September, September the 3rd to be exact. I'm actually hosting a tournament of my own on Lake Sinclair, called the Extreme Catfishing Challenge, and it's basically what's called a Grand Slam. Those that saltwater fish, that have saltwater fish tournament wise, know what that is. And then of course there's several catfishing anglers that are on the show tonight know what that is. And it's to where I got the idea from having gone to one and actually caught the Grand Slam. And of course the Grand Slam consists of catching a blue cat, a flathead, and a channel cat, and bringing it to the scale. The very first and only Grand Slam that I've actually fished, I caught the Grand Slam, or we caught the Grand Slam, I should say. And we were one of 6 to actually bring a Grand Slam to the scale. And out of the 6, we were the 3rd highest weight. And so it was a fun tournament. We loved doing it. Richard Warskow was the one putting that on at the time. And we absolutely loved doing that tournament. He had to cancel it last year, unfortunately, which was kind of sad on itself because it was the one tournament Pop really wanted to go to. And of course it got canceled, so we weren't able to make that happen. But so I decided that I was going to do the same type of tournament on my waters, because catching that flathead is absolutely the hardest thing to do on Lake Sinclair. It is blue cats and channels, catch them all day long, but that flathead is a beast. If you can catch that flathead, then you're pretty much guaranteed you're gonna come in with a Grand Slam. That's just a given. There's my buddy Justin. What's up, brother? But yeah, if you can catch that flathead, you're almost it's a given you'll come in with a Grand Slam. Like I said, blue cat channel, they're a dime a dozen out there. And but those flatheads they're wily. You'll think you have him, and then all of a sudden he's gone. But so that's, like I said, that's one of the things that I've got going on in September. Myself is hosting that particular tournament and on Lake Sinclair. But anyways, I done lost the thread of what I was talking about. I got a tangent on that, man.
No, we're right. We were talking about basically like bucket list stuff is what we was talking about.
Bucket list. That's right. I was talking about the BCF Hellcats and everything, and then I got to talking about, that's right, Lyle's Black Horse rods. Those are good rods. I was really happy that I got a chance to experience the Black Horse rods. I think they're really great rods. I think he does a fantastic job of making them.
Oh yeah. Yep. Justin says he's packing up the truck right now for a road trip in the morning, so he's leaving out in the morning.
He is. Like I said, he's he and I both are staying with Richard. I was supposed to be meeting him. He and I were supposed to be meeting getting there about the same time tomorrow. But like I said, my wife had to work, so I won't get to see him until Thursday. But
he'll be fine for one day at least.
Shoot, that boy will be on the lake time he gets there. I can guarantee that. I guarantee
he'll be finding his spot. He'll be finding his spot, definitely.
You got that right. I'll tell you, like old Richard will tell you, that Justin, that's a fishing fool right there, son.
that's one of and I'll ask you that in here in a minute, but that's one of the people that I'd like to go fishing with, Justin. But I would love to have Gabby on the boat.
Yeah.
Gabby has to be on the boat if I'm going fishing with Justin, because I won't fish with Justin if Gabby's not there. But I mean,
Well,
I'd still fish with Justin, but it'd be a lot funner if Gabby was there.
well, I was gonna say if Gabby's there, won't none of y'all get a rod? She'll knock you out the boat to it.
Yeah, I know. What's up, 351? Appreciate you coming in here. But yeah, I mean, there's a whole bunch of people. I've just got to wait a little bit longer. Hopefully next year, everything's gonna work out, and I'll be doing me some traveling too. Which I know me and you are not that far apart either. So, I mean, we're only about probably 4 hours at least.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think I think it is about 4 hours.
About 4 hours.
Because you're was it Alabama?
No, I'm the south. I'm south on the basically right on the Kentucky-Tennessee line.
Okay. Yeah. That's right. That's the reason I was thinking
north from you.
Alabama, because it was back up that way. So yeah, you're not but about 4 hours because it's because it's 3.5 hours from. That's the beauty of where I live, actually, because I am dead center of Georgia. It can take me anywhere from I literally can drive 2 hours in any direction, roughly 2 to 2.5 hours in any direction in my state, and go into another state. You know what I mean? Because of where I'm located. So about 4 hours. That's about right. About 4 hours to you. And everything. We'll have to get together and see if we can, even if I have to come up that way one weekend, to see if we can't get together and do some fishing.
Oh, absolutely. I have got just right on the other side, basically on this other wall, is a whole bedroom, bathroom, everything you need. So
yeah, I heard that.
Your own little apartment back there. So
there you
go. Yep, absolutely.
But,
so who is somebody? I know Lyle's definitely, and you said Creo and stuff. Who else is somebody that you really like? That's one person you really want to go fishing.
Shoot, I have many I want to go fishing with.
If you had to pick one of everybody that could just you perfectly are going to be able to make it done, who would it be?
Wow, that's a hard one. Let me think. I mean, I've already told you Creole, of course, and
yeah.
Of course,
and Lyle,
Lyle, exactly. Of course, Doc, that was, I'd love to be able to fish with Doc Lane, and everything. That was one of the things that Lyle and I were talking about, was getting Doc out there on Wheeler. That's the reason we picked Wheeler, because it was most center for us to meet up, and that's where Doc's at.
Yeah.
But yeah, Doc, I think I'd have to say Doc. Doc would be fun on the boat, I believe. I've had an opportunity to fish with Palmetto Cats, and I've had the opportunity to fish with Jim, of course. Justin, I've fished with him. PD fishing, that's the other brother from another. We've done that. Old Peel and Drag now. I want to go back up the Pickwick and all the areas because he's on Tennessee and the Mississippi, and Peel and Drag been catching some. He's another one of the brothers, in our little.
Yeah, I've been talking. We've been talking quite a bit. Me and him have, and it's been. Yeah. And he's on some fish.
Oh man, yeah, man, he had a heck of a day today. Or was it today or yesterday? It might have been yesterday. Matter of fact, it was yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday. He couldn't keep a rod baited up long enough to before I had a fish on it.
Dang.
It was phenomenal.
I hadn't actually heard much of them the last couple of days.
Oh,
yeah. So
yeah, he had. I think
he can't keep bait on a rod, didn't he? Oh gosh.
Oh yeah. I mean, he was. I think he'd said, and I'd have to go back. We keep up with each other, me and Justin and Jim and PD and Richard and and several other of us that we keep up with each other on I don't know if you're familiar with Zello. It's an app that turns your phone into a walkie-talkie, basically.
Yeah.
And so we're constantly in contact with each other just about every day. And so he was talking. I heard him talking last night concerning how great a day he had, and I think he said he caught about 20 fish total, and they wasn't no baby fish either.
No, Justin said he got a 30-pound flathead.
Yeah, that's right. 30 pound. That's one of the things he's talking about. 30 pound flat. He said, matter of fact, that was during a triple, if I remember correctly. He just pulled 2 blues when that flathead hit, if I remember the story correctly. And
Nice.
that's my kind of fishing.
Yes. Yeah, when you're done pulled in 2, and that third one goes down right after it. So yeah, absolutely,
I had
absolutely.
about 2 years ago, I guess it was, roughly 2 years ago. It might have been, time kind of gets away from me, but I think it was 2 years
Yeah.
ago. We were on a boat with Richard Warskow, and we just went up to fish with him some. And a storm come, a little small storm. We caught quite a few blues. And Richard can put you on some fish, as Justin can, attest to. But anyways, he'd put us on some fish, but wasn't nothing major. We some 20s,
Mhm.
just a few 20s, maybe some teeners and that kind of thing. And yeah, 27, 24 inch, 24 pound blues, and then that 30 pound flathead. What he called, right, like back to back, bap bap bap. But anyhow, storm comes up, and just as the storm goes over, we're anchored up in the middle of the lake with this lightning.
Mhm.
About that. I mean, you could clearly see the lightning.
Oh yeah.
And then it flows on over us and everything. We're all huddled up under the bimini top, and trying to stay dry. And all of a sudden, rod goes down. I jumped on it, and I reel it in, and it's something like I think this. I can't remember the exact size of it, but it was. I don't think it was a 20 pound. I don't think it was in its 20s. I think it was a teener that I pulled in. Matter of fact, no, it wasn't a teener either. It was about a 10 pound blue is what I brought into the boat. Had just put it back in the water and turned around, and my next rod goes off at the same, about that time. And that was whenever I caught the 25 pound flathead. And flathead had hit right just as I dropped that blue back in the water. And that was fun. That I love those type of days.
Oh yeah.
When that rod, you can't sit down long enough for having a real rod in.
Mhm.
I could do that all day.
I've not had the privilege of had that with catfish, but when it comes to panfish, I love it to where I can bring in creek fish, pull it off the hook, let it go. Next cast pops another one. I mean, just one after
Oh, yeah.
another.
I've
And
got a
I've
little
had those
spot
days.
on.
I've had those days where I've walked into a creek and it's just like one fish out another. And I think last time I looked at it was 17 fish in a row within
Yeah,
about a 2 hour stretch.
my brother and I decided we wanted to go fishing, and a matter of fact, it was the video that my brother and I did uh, right after Pop passed, and we decided we were going to go out that Sunday. And I didn't have any bait. I didn't have anything. I done depleted my bait and hadn't gone back to get any. So I told him, I said, well, look, I said, we're going to have to take and go get us some bait, before we decide to do cats.
Mhm.
And he says, okay, cool, no problem. So I went to my little honey hole. I got a little honey hole on the lake. It has not failed me yet with bluegill. Um, and I rolled back up in there, and the wind caught up. It was funny how the wind just, I mean, just, oh my God, you'd have thought it was gale force winds, the way it was
Mhm.
whipping through there, especially in that particular area. Um, and my brother was having a hard time trying to keep his line from blowing away from where he was trying to fish.
Yeah.
I told him, I said, dude, I said, watch this. I said, of course, we've got the little cork, and a little number 1 or number 2 J hook on, I think it is,
Yeah.
with a worm on the end of it, old school pan fishing. And I told him, I said, dude, watch this. I said, if you want it to land right there, you go and the wind was, of course, blowing from the left to the right. I
Yeah.
said, flip that joker back to the left, and it'll land back where you want it. And he said, huh? I said, watch. And I perfectly executed the cast, and it landed perfectly in the spot. And as soon as it hit the spot, it went under.
Nice.
and
Nice.
he was like, nah. I was like, yep. I was like, this is how you do it. So I get this fish in, right? Get it off the hook, drop it in the cooler. I had a cooler, drop it in the cooler, and I perfectly execute that same cast. and it hits almost dead in the same spot. And as soon as it hits, it goes under. He goes, "Oh, you're kidding me." I said, "No, I'm telling you, dude, this is how you do it." And that's how I pulled that one off. He says, "You can't do that again." I said, "Okay."
It's
I
like,
did
you want to
it
bet?
again. Same exact drop. I mean, it was perfect, And he was like, he's just his mouth like, he's like, "Let me try." I was like, "All right." So I got out the way, so he'd have to clean the room because I didn't want to get
Yeah.
hooked. And he cast, and fortunately, when he cast because he didn't cast like I do.
Yeah.
And so when he cast, the wind died down just enough that it caught, in other words, it died down and picked that back up around the same time. It was almost as if Pop was there putting the cork in the water for us,
Yeah.
type of, if you believe in that
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of thing. And but and it drops almost dead center of where I was at, and the cork goes under. We caught like 50 bluegill that day.
Golly.
50 in like a small, because I didn't want to be there all day because I wanted to take him to a couple of my spots that
Yeah.
that netted me some good fish, and unfortunately that day it didn't. But I kept saying that Pop was playing with me that day because he kept putting the small fish on my hooks. But but we had a huge, I mean, just a huge amount of fun just doing that, and to the point where
Yeah.
we were just as happy to do that all day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And but yeah, we caught something like 50 bluegill that day. Um, and then went catfishing and caught something like 3 or 4 little small dinky cats.
It's like you said,
Um,
the fun part is that fishing for that bluegill and the way you all were doing it and having fun with it.
exactly,
That was all the fun in it. And it's like you said, Pops was there because he moved the cork at the right time and the wind caught it. But I mean, he made it to where say, "Hey, you're having fun with your brother on something just as small as picking up bluegill."
Oh yeah.
That
Um,
time together is the biggest
yeah,
thing.
my brother and I mean, obviously, we our humor is my brother and our humor is very similar. And you get the two of us together. It's bad enough when you get my brother and I together. And we get to cutting up and carrying on because we'll have you rolling. My son will hyperventilate. He laughs so hard. And I mean, literally hyperventilate. I have to quit telling jokes so he can breathe. And
Like, you're gonna come up for air anytime soon now. Come on.
exactly, but now you put me, Pops, and my brother Jeff in the same room. Oh my God. We would just riff on each other like you wouldn't believe.
Mm.
And it would be just it would almost be like who can make the other laugh the fast, the hardest,
Yeah.
and we just be ripping them left and right, and that was the thing with Pop, when he was in Atlanta. We'd be talking, I'd call him up, and 'cause maybe I hadn't talked to him in a couple of weeks or so, and I'd call him up and we'd get to talking, and we would spend hours talking,
Mm.
literally hours talking. And we'd go to get off the phone with each other, and my brother has told the same story. We go get off the phone with each other, and my pop would go, "Oh, wait! I've been holding this joke back because I wanted to tell it to you, and I just remembered I wanted to tell it to you." So, he'd tell the joke, and then I turn around and tell the joke back, and vice versa. And the next thing we know, it's 3 hours later. So,
Oh yeah.
but we learned, my brother and I, we learned our humor and our love for life and people in
Yeah.
general from our pop. And
Oh yeah.
unfortunately, there's a lot of people out there that don't have that privilege, you
No.
know. And I was very thankful that I had that privilege to
Oh yeah.
be with pop like that.
Oh yeah. And the thing is I everybody's said it, and we did the little thing with Pops and stuff. Not long after he'd passed, and it
Right.
was the memories that you all brought to us was the best. So it was always it was good for all of us to get to know him and then get to know you and stuff like that. So I mean, it was just an honor to be there to watch all that. So
Oh yeah, it was like I said, we never, I told Pop, this was prior to us going to CatCon, and he actually, well, I've told the story and he's told the story on several, matter of fact, on Catfish Weekly with Lyle, we've told the same story, but it seems like it's a story that's worth telling, because it was true, and it was funny to a certain degree. But I told, when we first got started, and we had only been doing YouTube maybe a year roughly when CatCon come about, and I'm pretty sure I'm right on that. We've been doing it about a year, maybe a year and a half when CatCon come about, and I told Pop, I said, listen, and we're on our way. We're actually on our way to CatCon, and I told Pop, I said, listen, I said, I'm going to let you know something now. I don't know. I can't remember the exact conversation that was come about, but it had something to do with him wanting to meet Steve Douglas and him wanting to see, other tubers that we had watched on YouTube and everything. And of course, being around Jim and Catfish Bill and Justin and Peeling and all our brothers that we had come to love and, in respect, was going to be there. Anyways, that was the thread of the conversation. And I looked over at Pop and I said, Pop, I said, you do realize that we're not going to CatCon as unknown. We're not, and he's like, what do you mean? I said, we're actually, when you walk in that door, be prepared for people to, call your name. Say, call twerking, halfway across the room, somebody goes, the twerking monkey or K&B. I said, be prepared for that. I'm telling you right now, we're not going into this unknown.
Yeah.
And he says, yeah, right. I'm like, I'm telling you, be prepared. I said, you think you're going in starstruck, which he did to a certain extent.
Oh yeah.
I think we all did. But I said, but be prepared.
I'd say a lot of them did, yes.
Yeah. I told him, I said, but be prepared for them to be just as awestruck with us that know us and have watched us at this point. And he's like, yeah, okay, whatever. All right. So we get there. We're not even in the building. We're in the parking lot.
Oh God.
We're walking towards the building. And we're with Justin and Jim and I think Bill was with us that day. And there was, as we were going towards the building, and we hear K&B, and I think somebody said something about twerking monkey or something. Anyways, again, they called our name, and of course we turned, we recognized who it was at the time, and forgive me for saying I don't remember who it was now, but I mean, we threw our hands up and spoke back, and but that was going to the into the building. That was just the building. Then once we got into the building, I bet we lapped that building, God, 25 times. It just, because everybody wasn't getting there all at the same time, obviously. And and we were visiting with the different vendors, and we got a chance to to speak to Steve and Steve Douglas and of course Chris Flores. Bucket list. I knew there was somebody I was missing. I want to go to Muddy River Cat.
Yeah.
And I want to fish with Chris Flores. I'm glad I had this conversation. That is a bucket list for sure.
Yeah.
I think that would be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's something that I'm kind of like you. That's something I'm gonna have to kind of plan for.
That's not something you can just like, okay, next week I'm doing this. Is something like, okay, let's sit down, let's figure that out. We're planning this one out here in about 3 or 4 months. We're a year or whatever. We're gonna do this.
Exactly, no doubt. Anyways, get back to my story. So, like I said, we get into the building and people are, hey, trucker monkey, or KB, or like I said, at that point, I think everybody started calling me KB. And and so So anyways, we walked around, and we had people come up to us, and we had obviously we went up to different ones and spoke to them and that we recognized. And one of the things that Pop, one of the things I loved about Pop was, and he instilled in my brother and I, we've never met a stranger. I don't care who you are. We've never met before. We'll talk. I don't care, especially if we got something interesting to say to each other, And but we had a great time, and all. But and then of course there was, I know you know who Maurice Casey is. Maurice has become a really good friend and brother. He's family, to us, and everything. And so anyhow, Maurice was the one that comes up to we're on our way out. We're actually we're tired. We're ready to go back, to the motel, and we're on our way back. And I see this guy, and I don't recognize him, but he's making a beeline for me. And I'm like, maybe, and I'm trying not to read too much into it because I really don't know who this guy is.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking maybe his path just happened to be, intersecting with my path type of thing, coincidence type of thing. But no, I even shifted, and he shifted with me. That's how I knew he was making a beeline for me. So he comes up to me, and he sticks his hand out. Of course, automatically I shook his hand, and he says, "You don't know me, but I know you." And I said, "Well, pray tell me who you are." And he said, "I'm Maurice Case." And man, I tell you what, we had the best time talking with him and his wife and his son, and visiting and taking pictures, and because he's just a great supporter of all channels, and everything.
He's definitely one that I really, really want to meet because since I joined the community and stuff, it's just, and then where his wife was going through the situation she was going through is, I've been there for Maurice. Just, one step, I'm like, how's she doing? Like, give me updates. How's she doing?
Yeah. Like, I hate to say it. I unfortunately, I haven't touched base with him in a while, but Pop, he and Pop talked, I believe, a good bit. We had Maurice's number, personal number, of course, and that's how close we were. We exchanged numbers, and every once in a while, I'd shoot Maurice, ask him about his wife, or ask how he was doing, for that matter. And he's done the same for me, a few times. But I need to reach out to him again because it's been a while. But yeah, it was just funny how that happened. But we had a great time. Well, anyways, a shorter version of this long story I'm telling. We leave, and as we get back to the motel room, and all of a sudden it's just like Pop just stops what he's doing, and he just kind of looks around for a minute, and he makes the statement that he says, he says, "You were right." And I said, about what? At this point, I didn't know what he was talking about. I said, "About what?" He said, "People knew who we were." And I just kind of jokingly stated to him, I said, "Well, stick with me, kid. I'll make you famous." And he was. The man was more well known than I am. Everybody loves Working Monkey. But
absolutely.
It's been some good times. I know I've talked a lot about Pop tonight, and forgive me for putting
hey, but I kind of had it in my back of my mind that we've been talking about Pops a lot. I really did, because I wanted you to feel comfortable, is what it was. And I think this was making you talk about him and the times you all had, and then me bringing Lyle and having Lyle come up, and for you to be able to see him and stuff like that. I think it's just, that was my way of just making you feel comfortable up here and just being yourself and not stressed about anything.
Oh yeah, I've had a great time so far. We're almost 2 hours into this thing, so that says something right there. I don't know if you went back, when you going back looking at our stuff. I used to have a Thursday show called
Mm-hmm.
Twerking Thursday,
Yep.
and it was just me and Pop just interacting with with the people that come into the chat and telling stories and talking, and joking with each other and making fun of each other and that kind of thing. But I had told Pop, I said, a lot of people asked me later on, why did you stop? It was starting to become actually a pretty popular thing for Thursday night.
Mm-hmm.
At that time, there wasn't a lot of people out there doing live streams like that.
No.
And so a lot of people later on asked me, said, why did you stop? And the simplest, most basic answer I could give, and that's another reason why I haven't done it since, was that it became too much like work. I work full time,
Yeah.
which means that, and my work, I mean, I manage a hardware store,
Mm-hmm.
or help to manage a hardware store, but I'm not just a manager that sits back in an office somewhere. I'm in the midst of everything,
Oh yeah. You're there.
and
You're there doing the stocking, mixing up with
it,
the customers, everything else. Yeah.
exactly, my job entails me to do practically everything in that store and do it well, or at least as well as I can.
Yeah.
And even though it's a mom and pop type store, where the owners are there just practically every day, they're not the type that just sits back in an office either. They're interacting. I learned from them how to
Yeah.
do
And
my
the
job.
thing is like if you're managing a place, and the thing is like if you expect your employees to do the work, I mean, you're gonna show them that hey, I could do the work just like you all can.
Oh yeah,
Like I expect you. If I'm gonna do the work, I expect you to do the work too. If you're sitting back and not doing nothing, I mean, what kind of help you're gonna get? You're gonna get the same kind of help that you're showing.
exactly.
You're like, oh, he don't care. He ain't gonna do any work. So why should we? Why should we care?
Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly the way and of course I've managed several different businesses, but over the years, but um, this one I've been at the longest. I found my calling in in full time work, anyways. But I work, my point is I
Yeah.
work full time, and then and of course back then I was working roughly 45 hours a week, So by the time I come home, I'm tired,
Yeah.
I'm wore out some days, and it literally, I told Pop, I said, let's do this thing with live streams. At the time we decided to do the live stream, it was basically because number one, we could. Number two, um, it was a way to interact with the different people uh, and to be able to get more views, or not views, but um, people watching,
Yeah.
watching, subscribing and such as that. Although I hate to say that word, but still.
We say
And
hook
we
sets
were,
now.
how's that?
Hook sets.
Hook sets. There you go. Get those
Yeah.
hook sets. And so, but it was a great opportunity to be able to do it to do that. And of course we were already known through, Catfish Weekly and there was another show on at the time. I can't think, Sarah, her name was Sarah, Lord, I can't think of her last name now. But anyhow, there was another show that's no longer on there, that's on now. I mean, that was on then, but not now.
Yeah.
But so we already had gotten to, people had gotten to know us through the chats and everything. So we had a pretty good turnout, and had people. It seemed like every night or every week that we did it, we had people we didn't know popping in, and
Mm.
then of course, our numbers started to rise, and our hook sets started to rise,
Mm.
and everything. But what it became was a job. It became me having to come home tired as I was, go ahead and get everything together, grab because we went on around 7 o'clock of the night, and of course sometimes we wouldn't come off till 9 o'clock. I mean, just it'd be that much fun, that much.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I'm saying. You
Oh
obviously,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying, because we're there now,
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, it became more like a job, And so finally, I told Pop, I said, I can't do this no more. It's burned me out. And so we set it down. He said, well, let's set it down and see what happens. So unfortunately, I set it down and never picked it back up again. And then all of a sudden, everybody started doing it.
Oh,
And so there wasn't a need for me to do it anymore. And,
hey, I will say this: you're always welcome to come on here and co-host with me anytime you want,
awesome.
and carry on the name of the prodigal son of the twerking monkey.
Not 100% certain I'll get up and shake my booty while I'm in it, but I still
Yeah, there you
go.
We'll definitely get the views then. We'll definitely get the views then.
No, exactly, no doubt. Just to go, oh.
It's like, did you see what happened on the Kelly show there at the very end? Said, man, his guest got up and shook his butt at everybody. What kind of show are they running over there?
It's, I was talking about Rebel Dude, teaching me how to crappie fish. The video, matter of fact, it's this past video I just put out. After he taught me how to crappie fish, we went targeting bigger fish, catfish. And at that point, his PB was only like 13 pounds. 10 pounds on Lake Sinclair, but 13 overall, as far as his overall PB. And so I told him, I said, well, I've got a little spot that I go to, and about this time of the day and about this time of the year, it has produced some decent 20s. I said, at least some teeners, if nothing else. I said, but what we're going to do is, we're going to fish. This was right at the beginning, of the day, the 2 or 3 times that we went out. And I said, what we're going to do is we're going to go out. We're going to fish for crappie. You're going to teach me how to fish for crappie. I said, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you to a few spots, and I'm going to teach you how to target big catfish, what to look for, how to anchor up, the whole 9 yards, because he trolls a lot because of, obviously he's a crappie fisherman.
Yeah.
And I said, so I'm going to show you. I'm going to teach you how to target catfish. He says, cool. Of course, he's got a twin brother. Twin brother got real jealous. He wanted to be on the boat. Never could make it. But anyhow, so we go out there, and like I said, the last video I put out was those 2 trips. Right from the get go, 10 pound. He catches a 10 pound. Right from that was his PB on Lake Sinclair. It was the very first trip. Catches the 10 pound. That's the very very first thing you see, and then we caught a few more. And he catches a 15 pound, in which now 15 pounds is his overall PB. And he had I had the honor of him catching his PB on my boat, and thought it was great because of his reaction. And the reaction, if you haven't seen it yet, please go back and watch that video.
Absolutely. Yeah, I saw it. I was like, because that's one of the, as soon as it popped up, we went, oh yeah, another video, and I saw who it was. I was like, okay, and I was like, yeah, and then there's reaction. I was like, oh yeah, nice.
He literally shook his butt. And I don't know if you could hear it real well. Some say it's hard to hear. I set my speakers in such a way it doesn't matter, but some people say it's hard to hear. But as soon as he shook his butt, because he asked me, he says, should I twerk? And I was like, dude, you just caught your PB. And he's like, okay. And he does it, right? And then immediately he goes, thanks, Pop. And of course we do the high five. The funny part about that was he had promised his wife that if we were filming, he wouldn't shake his butt on TV.
Oh.
Whoopsie, sorry. Yeah, exactly. I was like, you did it now, son.
Right now it's on film. What's up, Jeremy Tournament Cats?
Oh yeah, I believe. Hey, Jeremy, you gonna be up there Saturday, or you plan on trying to be up on Wiley Saturday?
Well, you got Jeremy. I think I don't know if Swamp Donkeys are going to be there or not. Jamie and Rebecca, I don't know if they're going to be there.
I'm not really sure who all's coming, to be honest with you. I think we're going to be putting
now that they actually kind of canceled it, but put it on YouTube Live.
Yeah,
I don't know who all is actually going to end up going, anyways. But he said no, not this weekend.
Jamie, if I remember correctly, you on the Santee or down by the Santee, ain't you? I mean, I know you travel like I do, but in your home water Santee?
He's around that area. I know that.
That's what I was thinking.
Mm-hmm.
I need to get up with him and do some. I know he and I had talked about that at one time, and yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. Yeah, I need to get with you at some point, Jeremy. See if we can't get together and do some filming and fishing out there on the Santee when it ain't 50-mile-an-hour winds.
Yeah.
I know, Squirrel, you're gonna be there, buddy. I can't wait to see you, brother.
I don't say Squirrel ain't missing it.
Matter of fact, I got a picture of him and I think it's on Facebook as well. I think I put it out there, but from where he was there last year. But but yeah, Jeremy, I definitely know how to get with Jeremy. I know that's hurricane more like it instead of wind.
Yeah.
Jeremy's like, yes, sir, laugh out loud. Yeah, what's that? We actually, funny thing, we actually were planning on going Friday to Santee from Lake Wiley. We were just gonna make it a day, go down there and do some fishing because Justin's never been to the Santee, and it's kind of one of his bucket list lakes. And then we found out that there was going to be some nice 13, 14-mile-an-hour winds the day before, and possibly that day, which would produce roughly 2 to 3 foot swells. And considering that both I and Richard have been out there when there's 2 and 3 foot swells, we're kicking the boats around. Matter of fact, that's what prompted me to get the twerking monkey. I'm just going to go ahead and start referring to it as the twerking monkey.
Yeah.
That's what prompted me to get the twerking monkey boat, was because I almost sank my bass tracker on the Santee. Yes. It literally almost, let's put it this way. By the time we figured out that there was water in the boat, it was almost to the top of my batteries. And it was
a lot of water.
It was a very, very scary situation.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And everything. Of course, it prompted me shortly thereafter to stay in behind the island, which produced my 31 pound blue cap PB.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, yeah, I almost sunk that boat. So I decided to go with something bigger, and the Starcraft presented itself in such a way that, well, in the way that I wanted it. We built that Starcraft, me and Pop did. We took the hull and yeah, I know, Jeremy, you ain't telling me nothing, brother. Richard got scared. He thought his boat was going to capsize with him and PD, and yeah, sunk at the docks on Santee, no doubt.
Yeah,
I've seen that too. It's some scary stuff, man. But when I bought that Starcraft, when I bought the twerking monkey, I bought it to redo into a catfishing boat. And we did I had to take out the consoles and the front deck and all that on it because it was rotten. And I put all new stringers and everything across the front and put a new deck in. And I had my buddy Richard, Warscow, I had him to do the diamond plating that you see on it. He did all that work for me. And so it's all right. And of course, then I turned around and painted it blue. That's my colors, obviously.
Obviously. Hey, that's what I learned today too.
There you go. And and so and it's become a right nice little fishing vessel.
Absolutely.
I think it would handle those 2 foot swells a lot better. I just don't want to do it.
No. I mean, it's rough enough on a pontoon, I guarantee it. But I mean, to have a Starcraft or a bass tracker, I just couldn't imagine.
Yeah, I tell you that, I think a lot of it was probably my fault, to be honest with you. It was bad enough the swells was in, but if Pop was here, he'd tell the story himself of how I almost gave him a heart attack right from the get-go because I decided that I wanted to tie up to a cypress tree, and with the oncoming waves at the bow of the boat. The problem at the time, it seemed like a good idea. It's hindsight is always 20/20 on these things. And so I tied the boat to the cypress tree, like I said, with the bow of the boat, facing the waves, so it would push the boat backwards.
Yeah.
And the problem with that was that as one swell would push the boat up and then drop it back down, another swell was coming over at the same time,
Yeah. Mhm.
coming in that quick. So what would happen is that we would come up, and as we were dropping down, another swell was coming over the bow of the boat.
Yeah.
And we like to have never got that boat, because it was being pushed by the wind. We like to have never got that boat untied. I almost just clipped the rope with my knife, because we were taking on so much water at the time. I just didn't realize how much water we were taking on.
Yeah.
And so finally we get the rope out of the tree, out of the cypress tree, get it untied and everything, and get out, and we make our way around. We were on the front side of the island that was taking the brunt of the wind, so we decided to go to the back side of the island instead. And it was like opening it when we got around the back side of that island, man. It was like opening a door, stepping into a house. It was like no wind back there. It was just calm as it was, and it was shallow, but it was calm. And that was whenever my buddy, I had Catfish Bill 66 in the boat with me that day, and that was during the Monster Cat Quest tournament. And he just happened, I don't know what prompted him to do this. He just happened to look in the back, open up the door and look down in the back where my gas tank, my batteries and all was. And he's like, KB, you might want to see this. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, oh, we're taking on water, man. I'm like, no. He's like, no, for real. Well, about that time he says this, I've got to, in those bass trackers, they got a vent, so that the water can drain down into the boat.
Yeah.
And then you pump it out. About that time, water comes up into, sloshes, basically pushes back forward and pushes up into the vent, into the inside of the boat. I'm like, oh my God. So I go back. I tell him, I said, Bill, I said, you and Pop, you go to the front of the boat. I said, just go all the way to the front of the boat. I said, because if it's high enough to come through this vent, I've got to start, I've got to start pumping this water like now. And if we all three get back there, we're going to sink the boat for sure.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, cool. So they go to the front of the boat. I go to the back of the boat with the pump, because unfortunately, about 3 days prior to going to this tournament, all of my wiring on the boat burned. It literally, I had a wire catch on fire, and it burnt my, and it caught fire. It literally caught fire, and it burned all my other wires. The only wires that I had available was my that was still usable. Was my Lowrance. I had a Lowrance at the time on that boat. That cable was still good, and I think that was only because it's so thick is the reason it didn't burn. And my cables to my to my motor, of course, into my steering and all that was still good. All that was still good. But the small, like for my lights and other accessories, all those got burned up. So I had nothing to pump water with except a handheld pump. So I go back there and I literally lay down. I have to lay down on the, where the seats are. I have to lay down, open the door, stick my hand with the pump down there and touch the battery so that it will pump out. And it took me something like, I think, 15 minutes of doing that to pump the majority of the water out of my boat, and I had like I think it was like a 800 or 1,000 gallon per hour pump that I was pumping this with. And it still took like 15 minutes to pump the water way past the safety point, and everything. But yeah, that was scary, man. That was a scary experience.
Oh yeah, and, absolutely, it had to be. That's one of those. That's one of those. Is either you what is it they say? You live or die, and it's like, okay, like split second decisions, or we're gonna make it or not.
Oh yeah, and it was I mean, I knew I didn't have a hole in the boat. I knew where the water came from. I just didn't know that we were taking that much water on at the time. And it was crazy. It was just crazy how the water was coming into the boat. The amount of water that was coming into the boat, at the time. But anyways, dude, it's 8:00.
It is. Man, it's this 2 hours have flew by, definitely.
No doubt.
Absolutely flew by.
How many we still got in the house?
We still
10?
got 12. We got about 12 now still.
12?
Yep.
I'm pretty sure they're going to want to go grab something to eat if they haven't
Yeah.
already. I know
Well,
I do.
we got Roger going on live, and I think there's a few others that are fishing right now. I know everybody's got multiple devices anyways, but
Oh, yeah.
we'll go ahead and call it for the night, because we'll definitely do this again, because we've got a lot more talking, a lot more stories to go through. I know that, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
But
no doubt.
stick with me there. Everybody appreciate it. Make sure you go over there and watch Roger and Creo next. They just went live at 8 o'clock. So definitely go over there. I think I Tangled, like Tackled Tangled or something like that, or Tangled Fishing on. Definitely want to go there and watch them. And check out, I think, who's on it? Parker Pursuit. I think he is out live fishing right now. So make sure you go over there and see him. But everybody, appreciate everybody came in here. Like I said, make sure you hit, if you haven't got Kevin with A&B Anglers, make sure y'all get him tonight. And do you have anything coming up soon, except for this weekend?
Not really. I've got the weekend, and I'll be doing that then. I've got some other little small tournaments, local tournaments that I'm planning on doing in the next coming couple of months with a local outfit. It started out as a club, and now they just do tournaments just for the fun of it instead of being a true club. But I fished with them one. Matter of fact, they're helping me with my tournament in September. They're providing their scales, and they're kind of giving me some pointers, and they're going to be heavily advertising my tournament in September.
Nice.
So
and that's a what you call a trifecta, or what is it again?
Yeah, trifecta. You're right.
Yeah, trifecta tournament. So that'll be awesome. Everybody to be able to watch that one. And do they have anybody to help host it on YouTube or anything? Or are you going to try to do that?
I hadn't quite got that far with it yet. I've got I don't know that I'm doing it live. Here's the problem: I don't know how many YouTubers is actually planning on coming to it. I know Chad had said that he would if he could. I know Junior Warscow and of course Richard had said something about they were going to try and come down for it and everything. And I've got I got several.
I think it'd be good if we can get somebody there around the weigh-in scale to be able to film it.
Exactly. Now that I'm hoping that's what I'm hoping to do. If I don't have another YouTuber, let's just say another YouTuber doesn't show up, I may go ahead and set the whole thing live myself off my channel,
Okay.
And it's nothing to say that I might not do it anyways. I know I'm going to be filming it. That's for sure. It'll be filmed, of course I'll cut.
I mean, if anything comes down to it, hey, holler at me. I don't care to host it either on my channel, or we'll try something, and we'll just try to host the weigh-ins, because I know people will want to be able to see the weigh-in at least.
Exactly. Yeah. And this is the first time this particular type tournament has been on this late. Nobody's ever. That was the reason I decided to do it. Nobody's ever done this type of tournament before on this late. Yeah. And like I said, it is such. Hence the name Extreme Catfishing Challenge. Yeah. It's literally that. It is a challenge to catch all three species at one time. Yeah. And either you're going for one or the other, and you might catch a blue in a channel, like I said, pretty they're quick. A dime a dozen. But that flathead, I'll give a little secret with this particular challenge. You better go after your flathead first, because you'll play the devil trying to catch him if you get too late in there. Yeah. But you'll see,
you want to spend most of your time trying to catch that one, because that's the one that's very elusive trying to catch. Definitely. Yep. Unless you know the spots already.
Yep, that's what I'm saying. Once that is the cat you want to catch first in that particular lake. You want to go after that flathead first, then you go for your blue and your channel, and because that's pretty much a given. Blues, they're a dime a dozen. your bigger ones aren't quite as predominant in that lake because unfortunately there's a lot of people that go out there and jug and they keep everything they catch.
Yeah,
I don't
absolutely.
like it personally, but that's just my opinion. Put back the CPR, put your bigger fish back. If you want some eating fish, fine. Keep everything from 10 pounds and under. Me, I drop everything from 5 pound and under or over. Back in the lake a lot of times.
Oh yeah.
That is to say, if I'm keeping any, most of the time it
Yeah,
don't matter what
absolutely. Yeah.
there, I'm gonna drop them back in anyways.
Yeah.
Because I got to where I just
you're basically you're going to kind of keep it open if so you're not really going to be doing CPR the whole time. You're going to if they want to keep a smaller fish, then they can.
Oh, during the tournament time, no, all
Yeah.
fish goes back.
All fish go back. Okay, so
strict.
it will be CPR the whole time. Okay.
Yeah. It's a strict CPR tournament.
Gotcha.
And the reason, and I'll tell you the reason that I'm doing that. There was a tournament. I mean, I was going to do that anyways, but it just kind of concreted that particular setup for me, because there was a tournament on that lake. It was actually it was a cat tournament. It was I don't know. It wasn't one of the better known cat tournaments on this because there's not cat tournaments on this particular lake, but they allowed people to keep the fish if they wanted them, and there was no stipulation that the bigger fish go back into the lake. And there were several 20s and 30s that come in that left in somebody's cooler, and it was they were very highly talked about that. And like I said, the tournaments that I fish and have fished and will fish in the the future, they're all about CPR. I mean, I'm about CPR.
Oh yeah.
If you want to, I know you've seen the videos with the catfish pond. That Pop and I used to go to. I know you've seen those.
Oh yeah.
I want to go catch a mess of fish. I go to the catfish pond. I mean, there's a good farm. Literally, those fish in that pond
Basically
are
farm raised.
raised, so they're clean. And so everything that I catch in the lakes, they go back in the lake. But yeah, like I said, again, just I got that coming up, and a few tournaments, come up, and of course you guys will see a lot more videos coming out. Like I said, I'm finally kind of back here again, where I can get out there and do what I need to do and show the world, continue showing the world that what I love doing, and honoring Pop at the same time.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But appreciate everybody coming in here. We will see you sometime this week live fishing, hopefully.
Oh yeah.
Also remember, we're going to be few in between on shows starting from now on. We're not going to be probably doing shows every Tuesday night from now on, at least till June, because we've got my little girl had just started soccer this year, so I am actually volunteered to coach. So I will be out and about on some Tuesdays. So when I do have a show on Tuesdays, I'll let you all know. But we'll see you all on the next time, and hopefully see you out on the water. Appreciate it, everybody, to coming in. Stick with me, Kevin, there for a minute.
Simple.
All right.